and is carrying her child.
I need you to rub my feet. They're sore. And doctors say...
Oh, cut it out, Xiaomei. The doctor didn't say anything about rubbing your chubby stumps. Rub them yourself.
You treat me like dirt.
Would you rather go live with Mr. Solis in a dingy one-bedroom apartment with no air conditioning and no cable? Huh? No, I didn't think so.
You are meanest person I know.
I am the meanest person. You've been in this country a year. Modify your nouns, damn it.
What a bitch.
You must be Lynette.
And you must be Nora.
I guess it'd be weird if we hugged.
Certainly Nora could add an interesting twist to the Scabo's marriage. She is the mother of Tom's child, who he did, of course, have before he got involved with Lynette.
I wasn't sure that I wanted Kayla here if we were going to talk about business.
Business? We'll write Nora one big check, and in return, she'll sign away her claim for the back child support.
Oh, I don't like the sound of that.
If it keeps that crazy woman out of our life, it is the best money we have ever spent.
Nora took the payoff money that Lynette gave her, and she made a down payment on a home very near them, very near Wisteria Lane.
It's perfect. I could drop Kayla off here anytime so she can play with her new siblings. She can spend time with her dad. Because we're all a big family now.
Sort of.
Nora will be a huge thorn in Lynette's side, and Lynette will have various strategies for coping with her. We are heading to a very, very interesting place with Nora.
We start the season with, Lynette completely at wit's end trying to deal with this new addition to the family. Not only Tom's love child, but a woman who, who's a little bit off balance and is now, because of her relationship to her daughter and Tom, is a member of the family.
So you invited Kayla to Parker's birthday party, right?
Of course.
And?
And?
What did you tell Nora?
I told her that we were picking up Kayla for a quiet afternoon at home.
You lied?
Yeah, you're damn straight I lied. I will not have that lunatic ruining one more family gathering.
But Kayla's gonna, tell Nora that we had a party, and I'm just afraid that Nora's gonna blow a gasket. What?
So what are you saying? You're more afraid of Nora than you are of me?
Is that what you think I meant? Because that's so not what I meant. You scared the hell out of me, baby.
Thank you.
Lynette's a strong woman who's met another strong woman who you could even say is equipped to be her nemesis. It's a tricky situation. I wouldn't want to be in it.
I'm not crazy. I just have a few issues.
It says here, your husband died, you had a boyfriend who killed himself, and you suffer from alcoholism. That's a lot of trauma for 1 year.
By the end of the season, you could understand why Bree was on the verge of a total nervous breakdown. She lived every woman's worst nightmare over and over and over again.
I think she finally realized that she needed to get some help.
You're Bree Vandekamp, right?
Do I know you?
Orson Hodge, Susan's dentist friend. We met after her house burned down.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't recognize you.
Small world, huh?
Susan ended up meeting Orson in a movie theater, and then slowly he infiltrated into more of the Wisteria Lane people's lives.
We're not exactly sure why he was there, but wading into the dating pool while you're at a psychiatric hospital is never a good idea, but leave it to Bree to do it.
I am not like these other people.
Oh, I can tell. A real lady always stands out in the crowd.
Well, that was very sweet.
Enjoy your rest, Bree Vandekamp.
He seemed like a perfectly charming guy, but just as with George the pharmacist whom Bree dated and then who ended up killing her husband, it seems that Orson has a very dark side to him.
We have a lot of fun things coming up for Edie in season 3.
Edie is still vengeance bent on Susan. She hasn't forgotten their encounters at the end of season 2, or the fact that Susan got her terribly bee stung in that very funny scene.
Ow! What the hell?
Every time something bad happens to me, you're standing nearby. Well, I've had it. No more pretending to be friends. When I get out of here, I'm gonna destroy you.
An opportunity for that revenge will present itself several episodes down the line, but I won't say what form that opportunity will take.
Do you have something you'd like to say?
No, that pretty much says it all.
It seemed like the season was going to end on a really happy note for Susan and Mike. In fact, he was getting ready to propose. Things didn't quite go as planned.
Susan is going to be just in an awful position in season 3. The guy she loves, Mike, is in a coma.
Mike did not die. I don't think that's a big surprise because nobody wants to kill Mike Delfino, but he did not die from the hit and run with Orson, but he has been in a coma. And Susan is at a point in her life where she has been very loyally and faithfully sitting by his bedside, but has to start to wonder, how long am I going to do this?
You know, we do have people here in the hospital who could do that.
But I like doing it, and I think Mike would want me to. Oops. So have you got the results of his latest MRI yet?
I'm afraid there was no change.
Oh. Well, how long until you can do another one?
I don't want to tell you not to be optimistic, but...
Look, I know it's been 6 months, but he could still come out of it, right? I saw on the news there was this woman in Peru. She woke up after 10 years.
There's a reason that made the news.
You might think I'm naive, but I know he's coming back to me.
Susan.
Don't say it. You just keep doing your job, and I'll keep doing mine. Oops.
Meanwhile, though, she has struck up a new friendship with another man, a very dashing, charming Englishman, played by Dougray Scott.
And his wife is in a coma across the hall. They have become coma buddies. And this friendship starts to take on more meaning.
It puts Susan in an interesting place with an interesting dilemma. Does she stay loyal to Mike even though she has no idea firmly if Mike was ever really going to propose to her and if Mike is ever going to wake up? At what point do you let go and move on to something new and promising?
You know, Susan is going to find herself in a pickle because, you know, Mike's going to wake up. And then the fun begins.
It's going to be an interesting triangle to play out over the course of the season.
There are lots of sparks. It's a lot of fun.
Payment in full.
Clearly, Orson has some back history with Mike.
One reason he may have run over Mike is Mike recognized him from something.
You know, I had the feeling when I first saw you in the movie theater that we'd met before.
I don't think so.
I have got to know what Orson is up to, because it's one thing for him to run over Mike, but then he shows up on Bree's doorstep with flowers. And so if a guy shows up on Bree's doorstep, you know he's bad news, because no guy ever shows up who's not bad news.
Orson.
Oh, hey. These are for you.
Oh, sweet and unexpected. Do you want to come in?
I'd love to.
Well, this guy is on the surface a pretty bad guy, but it was an interesting kernel to make a mystery from because the audience is immediately a little alarmed and apprehensive for Bree that she's become involved with a guy who we know ran over Mike Delfino, but what we don't know is why did he run over Mike Delfino? And the answer to that is just the beginning of a mystery that's going to run through the season and have a lot of really interesting curves and twists and surprises in it. We're going to learn in the season opener that Orson has a very enigmatic past. And he had a marriage before Bree, and how that marriage ended is very much a question mark. And it's going to be something that, disturbs and haunts the ladies. Orson will find himself under something of a cloud.
Bree's relationship with Orson is going to be very interesting because in many ways he's the male Bree. He's someone who's kind of just as fussy and particular as she is.
Well, you don't have to wash those. I already did them.
Oh, I found some streaks. So I'm wiping them down with undiluted red wine vinegar.
I've never heard of that.
Oh, sure. Well, for tougher spots, I use a 50-50 mix of denatured alcohol and water. And for those really